Hey everyone, this is Rosemarie from the Unfinished Lesson, and today I'm giving you a sneak peek at the Travel Through Time Digital Escape Labs. So these will take your students on a journey through musical history, but it gives them a lot of choice. And I thought, what is the best way to give you a sneak peek? And that would be by doing an escape room together. So let's take a quick look. The first thing your students are going to see when they choose an escape lab or escape room is that they see an initial page that shows them what it's about. And we're just going to hit next. So what makes these labs unique? Well, they cover more than music history or music theory. They provide a full year of labs for your studio. Each era actually is for 2 months of your studio. And students get choice in what they do in each lab. Now you'll notice once I chose 3, all of a sudden that little thing went away. If your students do a lab and it tells them to choose at least a certain number, then it's going to let them know maybe they didn't choose enough. Which era is not covered in these music labs? Well, I can tell you that we went to the Renaissance, Baroque, Classical, Romantic, and 20th century. So I'm going to select Middle Ages. But what if I chose, say, 20th century? Notice when I hit next, it kept me on this screen. I made sure that these were designed so that you have almost no marking to do. As soon as I hit Middle Ages, it's going to allow me to go. So here is my first clue. I need to make sure that I write them all down so that at the end we can actually travel back to now. So I'm hitting next. So here's a little peek. Your students are always going to get hints. If they don't see a video, the link for it is in the description. You want to follow clues carefully because they will make sure the details are right when you answer. If you answer incorrectly, we've already seen it'll keep you on the same screen. And if you know your answer is right, check if there is a capital letter to start it or a space. This is especially important if students are using iPads or phones. So in the Renaissance, one of the things that my students did was a genre spotlight, and you can see the video here. It lets them know how long the video is, and that's so that our students can actually manage their time within lab. Will they be able to complete a lab within the time that they have? So if we were to listen to this, one of the questions is, did you like or dislike this song? Give one reason why. Now, if I write down, let's see, I did like it, and then tried to do that as an answer, it's going to tell me, please give me more details. I did this so that students, they can do some music appreciation, but that they also have to really think about it. So I did like it because the instrument was soothing. Okay. All right. And then which dynamics did you hear? I happen to know that it was piano and mezzo piano. Again, if I was to choose the wrong one, it's going to keep me on this screen. So we've got a little bit of, we were able to have it that the program marks it for us. And so I'm just going to hit next. Here is my next clue. I need to make sure I write it down. All right, so in the Baroque, for example, one of the things that we covered was an instrument spotlight. You're going to notice in each of the eras, there's a variety of things that students can choose. And I'm giving you highlights of the different types of activities or the different spotlights that we are doing. So you notice this video is a little bit longer, and what I ended up doing was dividing things so that students could actually watch the video multiple times, or I'm even encouraging them to just stop the video, make note of the time before they go to the next section. And that's on a student worksheet that you guys get. So what style of music meant the lute needed to be changed? 5 letters, no capitals, I know the answer to this one, and it is opera. Okay, so because I'm on an iPad, it automatically made sure that it capitalized the first word. Notice it isn't the right answer because there's not supposed to be any capitals. So I have to go back, just take out the capital, and as soon as I do that, when I hit next, it'll let me go. So we've written down our next clue. I hope you guys are writing these down. And here we are in the classical era. So every era has a spotlight. It's just a short video that gives the students an overview of what the main things from that particular era are. So what are the approximate dates of the classical era? Well, I know it's 1750 to 1820. And then which two cultures inspired this era's music? And so I'm going to select Greek and Roman. If I was to select one of these incorrectly, it's going to keep me on this screen. But I selected correctly, and so we write down our next clue. And here we've got in the Romantic era, for example, we have a theory spotlight. Our students need music appreciation, but they also need music theory, right? They need the history, they need the theory, they need it all. And so there is assignments that focus on the theory. So it's the first way that we use dynamics. Notice we've got a 6-letter code, no capitals. So this time I'm remembering I need to hit my shift on my device and then write down volume. And what is the second way we use dynamics? Select 3. So in this case, it's not at least 3. I have to select 3. And so I know one of them is phrasing, sustain and pedal. And then that way it lets the student go ahead. Now if I select 4, it tells me no. And here we go. We've got our next clue. We're doing really well. All right, one of the other things that we have in Music Lab is that composer spotlights can include podcasts. I don't know about you, but my students love podcasts, and they like getting choice. So, for example, for Gershwin, one of the things they could choose was what is a rhapsody, Rhapsody in Blue, or jazz and classical music. Say we have a student who really likes classical music and is wondering what the 20th century has to do with classical music, and they select that one. It says listen to jazz and music and answer the questions. And so it has the link right there on my device. It's going to allow me to open it up in a different window or a different browser window, or the students can just select it. And then we write down the answers to the podcast quiz below. So it's a 3-letter code, all capital letters, no spaces. And I happen to know that this one is CAC. Now notice they're not all capitals. I'm going to have to go back because if I try and do this, it's not going to show up correctly. There you go. And we hit next. And notice we actually went through to 16. When students have podcasts, it will always take them to the congrats screen. It won't make them do all the podcasts listed. So we've got a clue here. And then what did the crocodile say to the alligator? We've got a 3-letter code, space in between words, no capitals. And the crocodile, you know what the crocodile said to the alligator? See you later. And I'm going to remove that space at the end because I know it'll mark it wrong. And next, and ta-da! We've traveled back home. And here's a picture of Calgary. And so I just wanted you to have a quick peek at what your students could be doing in these music labs. There's so much for them to explore. I promise you they're not going to get bored. And it's really easy on you. So make sure you visit the unfinishedlesson.com/store. And that's where you're going to find music labs, including these ones. So you've traveled back home. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe to this channel or visit theunfinishedlesson.com for more ideas just like this one.